Greetings, YouTube. What a difference 5 years can make. 5 years ago, 77% of Americans believed that climate change is a real thing. Now, 5 years later, only 60% of Americans believe that climate change is a real thing. When the poll was expanded and they began to ask more specific questions, they discovered that only 13% of Americans were aware that 97% of climatologists believe firmly that climate change is real and that humans are playing a significant factor. I guessed 95% when they were talking on the radio today, so I was off by 2%. But at least I got within 2%. That's not a bad margin of error. Now, this is not just happenstance. It didn't just happen because, Americans got dumber in the past 5 years. This happened intentionally. Conservative politicians in America have been driving this point home as hard and fast as they could in the hopes of confusing Americans, muddying the water, and making sure that when the next election cycle comes around, climate change isn't as important as it really desperately needs to be. In fact, they played a clip from Michelle Bachmann, one of the presidential candidates for the Republican Party, talking about the fact that CO2 is a natural gas. It's not dangerous, it's harmless. Well, actually, CO2 is dangerous. If you have nothing but CO2 to breathe, you die. And while it is a naturally occurring chemical, there are lots of naturally occurring chemicals that will kill you. For example, too much oxygen will kill you eventually. Too little oxygen will kill you right quick. Those are all natural things. 78% of your atmosphere is nitrogen. Pure nitrogen will kill you. She also doesn't seem to be aware of the fact that we have changed the levels of the carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. And by pumping them up, which is what we've done, we've increased the planet's ability to retain heat, hence the often used term global warming, because CO2 is a greenhouse gas. It helps hold temperatures in, which is useful if your planet is cold. Our planet is not particularly cold, and we are in desperate danger of screwing with the climate in a way that's going to make life for us really difficult. Now, the Earth itself is going to get along just fine. Every human being on the planet could drop dead tomorrow, and the Earth could care less. It will just keep right on rolling. But I'd like to have us kick around for a while. So I think we really need to look into lowering the CO2 levels, getting climate change under control, minimizing it as much as possible, and making sure that in the future it does not get worse. And conservative politicians have done everything in their power to make sure that Americans don't believe this is possible, don't believe it's an issue, and think it's unimportant. This is unethical and immoral in my book. It is something that we need to speak about and we need to bring up every time a conservative politician tries to call climate change into question. We need to tell them, 97% of researchers think it's real, and keep hammering that home until eventually they either change their minds or at least shut up. So, I'm sure I'm going to get people telling me in the comment section below that climate change is actually not that dangerous. I'm going to read the comments, but I'm with the 97% of the researchers. I think it's real. I know it's real. And if we don't do something to mitigate it, we're all going to be in hot water.